Hey guys, how's it going? Onage here, and welcome to a new FSR video. FSR highlights, of course, as always from the Pro Series here. And we are in Q1, and we also are at Silverstone, which is an incredible venue to be, and it is my favorite track on the whole calendar. I don't think I am the only one who really likes this track. I think this is really a driver's favorite. Even with the new layout, it's really good. I prefer the old layout, to be honest, but the new layout is pretty cool as well. I think the new layout was introduced in 2010. But here you are seeing my Q1 lap, which hopefully should promote us up to Q2. What I took with me, obviously, after the last couple of Grand Prix was that I had to be more like perfect, pretty much, in qualifying. You know, I need to nail my laps, whereas in previous 2-3 races I just kept messing up my qualifying laps, and you can't keep on doing that. I usually didn't have problems with that. In fact, qualifying was one of my strongest points, especially in last year. So it was a bit weird for me to see that, but it was something for me to say, you know, you need to practice on it, because you have been doing not that great at all. This is why I love Silverstone here. This section, Cops Corner, and then coming up to Maggots, Beckett's Chapel. Cops Corner flat out in qualifying. So we have a great camera shot over there. There we go. Now Maggots, Beckett's, and then this is Chapel over here. All looking very nice and stable. But oversteer there on the exit. But it's on obviously Q1 lap. Not using any onboard footage at the moment. I will use that for Q2. But I like this as well for Q1. Maybe have a little bit of TV camera stuff and whatever. Stow corner. Make sure you don't extend it on the exit, which is really easy to do. Then you come to the final two corners. This is Vale and then Club. And Club is pretty hard in the race when you're on worn tires. It's very easy to lose the rear end there when you have too much wheel spin. And that is my lap done. And that, I think, put me up in second position with Michele D'Alessandro in first. So my outlap then for my Q2 lap. Obviously it's Silverstone, you know. It's such a great venue for me. It's my favorite track, said it before. And I didn't win this one last year. I never won a race last year. But this is one which is really on my list, you know. This is one I really want to get. So let's see then. Now is the time to shine and see whether I indeed practiced a bit for those qualifying runs, which I mentioned earlier. This is Q2 now. The pressure builds as you have only one lap to get it right. And hopefully we will get it right. I practiced on it, as I said before, so hopefully that will be shown right here. So Q2 lap starting right now. Adrian Falcon up ahead, managed to set his lap time already. Bit of the apex there right away in the first corner, which is Abby, slowing the car down here for turn 3. Nicely down to second gear. Careful on the power here. Very easy to overdo it, get too much on the power and lose the rear end. Here again, exit is very important. The air is wide open for this little kink here, and then up through the gears, and this is really where it starts to get good fun. Second sector, first of all, Brooklands. Make sure you carry a late apex. That's the apex you want to hit. A little bit wide here, bit of bit wide, bit of out of position for Lovefield over here. Nonetheless though, putting the power down nicely. Remember, in FSR, curbs are part of the track, so you can always have two wheels on the curb, and so it looks like I was track extending there, but it was not the case. Cops Corner flat out, bit of drag through there. You could hear the revs sparking down a bit, and then this section, listen. Down the gears, bit of smoke there coming from the tire, a lot of force obviously on the tire. Second DRS, so DRS wide open, and so far a good lap. And I can tell you at this moment I was 3/10 up on the provisional pole sitter who was Victor Ivanov. So corner, flick it in there, hard on the power again, up to 5th gear, up to 6th. Make sure you brake nicely down to 2nd gear at the 100 meter mark for Vale, and then on the power here at Club. You can gain and lose a lot of time over there, but that was a pretty decent lap, and it actually puts me up in pole position for the race. Oh, that's a relief.
Woo! By 5/10. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff.
That's a relief. Yes. So you can hear there, I was pretty happy with that. It's, as I said, a relief, you know, after those poor qualifying sessions, you start to doubt a bit about yourself and stuff, and it creates even more pressure. So it's probably wrong to do that, but still, it's there, and you know, you need to perform. Luckily, I did it there, and as I said, that was a pretty big relief. And Justin said it as well, my engineer, pole position by 5/10 from Victor Ivanov. I think I did a 29.5. Ivanov was in the 30s, and Alessandro was quite a way down as well, which is rather rare to see. But I think he had a bit of a slow middle sector, so probably made a bit of a mistake over there. Anyway, formation lap underway, and we are back in pole position. That is great to see. Alessandro there, I think in 6th, as we see the field coming through here at the moment. So it did eventually look like that a bit of extra qualifying practice didn't do any harm, that's for sure. Finally able to at least set a good lap time, and usually before the qualifying session itself you already know what kind of session it's going to be. And for this one I was just really confident. It's a track I absolutely love. I can't mention it well, as many times as I already did, because it's just a fantastic track, really. So that also boosts your confidence quite a bit. I mean, I worked quite hard here. After Hockenheim, again another victory, you know, I really want to have a victory again. And there was a bit of a break in between Hockenheim and Silverstone here. So I decided to work quite hard straight away after Hockenheim. Get a few test sessions in and stuff like that, but mainly setup work. I think I found a pretty good balance here. It's quite an interesting track in terms of aerodynamic setup. You can go with a little bit higher wing, you can go with a little bit lower wing. I'm usually the type of guy who goes with a lower aerodynamics and maybe a bit more mechanical grip. And that was the same case here around this track, around Silverstone. I tested also a bit higher aerodynamics, which was also fine. But for the race it is better usually to have a little bit lower. Maybe not in terms of tire wear, but tire wear shouldn't be that much of an issue. One stop is possible for me, I know that. We've got that as an option, but we are on pole position here at the moment, and in that case plan A is to make a 2-stop. So the end of the formation lap is right here. Make a few burnouts and find our grid slot. 100% front, 99 rear. In the grid slot, 122.4 liters. 58 degrees on the rear, ready. So there we go. A little bit of team radio there, mentioning to my engineer all kind of data which he needs, and we are staring now at his lights. A few guys in the pit lane perhaps. Jacques Wengler starts all the way from 17th place after he had a back of the grid penalty for a qualifying cut in Hockenheim. But anyway, we see the lights coming on. Well, we don't see them, but we hear them, and we also hear that they are out right now. And Victor Ivanov, what a start from Victor Ivanov, jumping straight away in front of me. But the question is, was it a fair start? We'll have a look at that in the replay, of course. Straight away I'm gonna try to get him back though on the inside of turn 2. We had a bit of contact made on the entry of turn 2, forcing Victor Ivanov a bit wider. Looked rather weird. We saw the fantastic start from Ivanov, maybe a bit too fantastic. Maybe it was a jump start. Victor jumped the start, but he may be lucky. I don't think the game recognizes that as a false start, because it was really on the limit. Okay, yeah, see, so it was a false start pretty much, but usually the game doesn't always recognize it as a false start if it is really close between the point where the lights went out. Can you see any damage on the front wing and the broadcast? Maybe a front wing end plate flying off?
No, I just saw the accident. I didn't see anything come off. Yeah, it looks good. I saw you going through left field nice and slow. I don't see anything missing.
And a bit of contact made on the entry of turn 3, I think was. I may have said 2, but it's definitely turn 3. Bit weird to see that. We'll have a look at the replay soon and have a better opinion and judgment on that. I think that's the best thing to do. End of lap 1. Coming through Stowe corner, building up quite a big gap right now to Victor Ivanov, who then, well, we saw him having that start, which was quite insane to see, let me put it like that. Coming through Club, and we already went through Vale. This is an important corner here, coming down the main straight. Very hard to keep the power down when you have worn tires flat out in Abbey. That's no problem at all. So we are facing now 32 laps around this track. A bit of debris there on the track. Viktor Ivanov in second, but losing quite a bit of time to me already in that first lap. So pulling away, that is good to see. Viktor Ivanov definitely outside of our DRS window at the moment. We see Christoph Schoer here actually attacking Viktor Ivanov. If he can get past, it would be a GhostSpeed 1-2 at the moment. But Christoph decides to back out of it, and that's probably the wise choice as well. Back to us though, through Brooklands here, get on the power. Another very tricky traction zone when you have worn tires. It's really easy to lose the rear end there. Generate
almost 3 seconds gap to Victor behind.
Right, so just to mention now the gap almost 3 seconds already after 2 laps. So it's going extremely well at the moment. Maybe Victor having a bit of trouble getting into the rhythm. Usually I have that as well. First couple of laps I really need to get used to everything, but then after 3 laps or so, 4, I settle into my own rhythm and everything is fine. But for this race I just felt so confident, I didn't really need that. Here we have a look. We saw Viktor Ivanov there. If you saw it closely, you saw him already driving away before the lights went out. So it indeed does look like a jump start from Viktor Ivanov. And then here, watch this. So here is where the contact is made. Basically, I thought that Viktor would go much more to the left hand side. We'll have a look at it here. Watch the racing line. The racing line goes to the left here. Watch Victor's steering wheel. It stays straight right there, and now even turns a little bit to the right. And I was there unfortunately, and I just did not expect that at all. And I think this is a simple race incident. I mean, it's just an unfortunate collision. Luckily, it didn't have any major consequences. I asked Justin, as you have heard as well, whether there was any damage to the car, and there wasn't. I spoke to Victor, who wasn't really happy with that action after the race. A day later, though, it was all settled down and stuff. I can somewhat agree with him, but at the same time, I think we both could have handled that situation better.
Adrian Pitts.
Okay.
He's on the hards.
Yeah, teammates are on the same strategy plan as us.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, lap 12 might be the way to go. I'm keeping an eye on it.
Right, so Justin is obviously keeping an eye out on the live timing and trying to find the gap for me, so that when I pit, I come out in clean air. That is so important, and usually Justin tells me, you know, whether I need to push or not in order to open up a gap. And well, as a result of that, come out in clean air, which is really important at the moment. Lap 11 of the race. 11 laps on these medium tires, and they are definitely starting to wear a little bit right now. Nicely on the power there though, no issues there whatsoever. Front left is obviously the tire which gets a lot of force, and thanks to that it is also the tire which gets worn most, obviously. Quite a big lift before Copse Corner. End of lap 11. Pit window is definitely open. Adrian pitted last lap. We can go this lap or next lap, depending on what Justin is going to say, probably.
Box this lap.
There we go. Got perfect timing. Justin probably found a gap then, and he says box this lap. Wengler here at the moment is behind me in second place, and he started from all the way down to 17th, I think it was. It's on a harder tire as well. Wengler doing an awesome job at the moment. Slowing nicely down for the pit entry line. And pressing the pit limiter.
We should come out in third. Maybe first. Depending on if people pit.
Right, that is clear. Third or first, depending on whether people pit, obviously. All the way down to the end of the pit lane to switch the tires and go out again. Currently it's looking rather good. Made quite a big gap to the guys behind, about 9 seconds or so, maybe even more. Can't really remember anymore. Third.
Yep, third. That's Wengler and Carpenter ahead of you.
Wengler?
Yep, Wengler leading.
Wow, respect to Wengler. Maybe going for a one stop.
It's not gonna work though with this gap.
Christoph or Adrian behind?
Adrian's ahead of Christoph, but it is Dmitry Zaharov behind you. Yet to pit. Dmitry yet to pit.
So 2 guys ahead of me, 1 guy behind me. Dmitry Zaharov, as you have heard Justin saying, is yet to pit. 2 guys in front of me are yet to pit as well. But it may be on the one stop, and if that's the case, then yeah, Justin said it as well. The gap is just too small to make that work for them.
Wengler did a 32.8 last lap, 32.8 from Wengler.
Just to give me a little bit of a target lap time there. 32.8 is rather nice on a 12 lap old prime tires. Coming into Stoke corner here behind Samuel Carpenter, who is one of those guys who are yet to pit. Then, as I said, we are in third place at the moment, and Carpenter goes into the pit lane. So perfect timing for us. Probably means that he is on the 2-stop. Wengler ahead though is on that prime tire and still going on. So most likely Wengler is on the 1-stop and is having good pace at the moment as well. But we know as well that we have got good pace ourselves too, and we have a huge gap to the guys behind. So currently this race is going really well. Wengler here leading, lap 60.
Wengler 1/10 quicker that lap.
And just as suddenly saying Wengler 1/10 quicker that lap. And I noticed when I exited the pit lane that I could close down to Wengler. And I was in fact a bit closer than this, I believe. And suddenly Wengler started to pull away from me. And I was like, what is this? I definitely did not drop off. My pace was very consistent and very stable. And all of a sudden I see Wengler ahead, who has 16 or 15 old prime tires, going 1/10 quicker than me. That comes out of nowhere, and at this stage I just thought, well, that is really impressive. It's already really impressive that he is driving in first at the moment. And I had no idea how he did that and how he was so quick. And I was thinking now, halfway through the race, and this guy might actually be a threat to us. But there is a but, actually quite a big but. A big but. Okay, never mind. There is a big but here, because there has been a bit of a story that Wengler is or was cheating. What are the guys behind doing?
High 32s from Adrian and Christoph. High 32s. Quite a bit slower than you.
Wengler pit.
Okay, good.
So we're quicker than the guys behind as Wengler pitted. And as I said, Wengler, there is a bit of a story going on about him. Because people believe that he cheated during this race. I have absolutely no clue, and I will have
Adrian pits.
Excuse me?
We will be stopping at the end of 21. One more time around.
Okay, lap 21 then. So in the broadcast itself, people were already saying Wengler is cheating because it was not possible, the kind of lap times he set on worn tires. It was rather impressive, I have to say. I don't know whether it is impossible to do.
Adrian's out.
As we hear, Adrian is out. That's interesting. Lap 21 though, we should be pitting in this lap. But yeah, I don't want to spend a lot of minutes on that subject, talking about it over here. Fact is that Wengler is most likely going to get banned, because it does look like he used some kind of cheat. And in that case, it's quite sad, and I wouldn't be proud at all if you would even win a race by cheating. That is just stupid. But hey, that's my opinion.
Box this lap.
Box this lap indeed. So Wengler most likely getting banned. As I said, I'm gonna keep it at that though. At this point, I did not think about cheats at all. It was only after the race when I heard from Justin actually, who said it, that people were accusing him of cheating, and I was like, well, so surely that's got to be a joke. But then I looked at some forum posts, and it actually made sense, because Wengler was 2/10 quicker on worn tires than the World Championship drivers. Yes, he had DRS, but that is still insane, on worn tires being quicker than WC drivers.
Will come out behind Wengler, but obviously he has very worn tires. Just protect your tires. Don't push too hard. You will get him in the end. Only about 5 seconds behind him, I expect you'll come out.
In the pit lane here then. Was on the hard tire before, obviously going to switch to the medium tire right here. Then we have 10 more laps to go, well 11 to be a little bit more precise on these medium tires. We just heard Wengler flying by. That means there is quite a bit of a gap to Wengler, and now the battle is on. 10 laps to go. Come out behind Wengler, there we saw him just flying by, here he is. That is the gap. That is still quite a big gap. And I was quite concerned at the moment, because I knew what kind of pace Wengler could do, you know, from that first stint where he suddenly went so quick and was even quicker than me, while I was on fresh tires and he was on worn tires. Obviously I know now that he is cheating, or he was cheating most likely. That is probably going to be the verdict. It's not official yet, but I've been hearing from trustable, sources that he did cheat.
Wengler's doing mid 31s, 31.6 last time.
And if he didn't cheat, then it's just really, really impressive, especially from 17th place. But yeah, I guess that's the final word from me on that subject. The stewards will look into it, and we may see him in the next race. We may not see him because he's going to get banned. A fun fact, in fact, is that Stoffel van Doorn, who races in GP2 at the moment, raced in FSR before. He raced in the World Championship, and he actually cheated as well. It's quite funny, but I believe Stoffel van Doorn is actually banned from FSR. That's quite interesting. Anyway, back to this race though. 10 laps to go, and we have a huge battle in our hands here. I'm gonna have to push really hard if I want to catch Wengler, and then try to go for an overtaking move. Lap 23 at the moment. As I said, need to push rather hard here at the moment. Let's have a look at that gap. That is the gap. Virtually you can see that it's about a 5-4 second gap or so.
Traffic ahead of Wengler, 2 cars. Traffic ahead of Wengler, 2 cars.
Alright, so traffic ahead of Wengler. This is the time I'm gonna have to push very hard then. Maybe Wengler will get held up a little bit by that traffic, and well, in that case, if I can profit from it, then I will have the momentum with me even more, and that's going to make my life a lot easier in catching up to him. Coming here through Lovefield, I think it is. Yep, Lovefield. And we saw a bit of oversteer on the exit there. Indeed, starting to push a little bit more. And here's Wengler, and that is me. So still quite a bit of a gap, but currently quite a few seconds quicker than Wengler. So that's
much quicker than Wengler. Much quicker.
That's what I mean. Just saying it right here, much quicker than Wengler. This was the pace I had to push, but Justice said it in the pit lane as well, Also protect those tires. In a situation like this, it's much better to just have consistent lap times rather than pushing really hard. Because at the end of the race you will pay for it, and I need those tires as well towards the end of the race if I want to have a shot at overtaking Wengler. We skip to the end of lap 24 though, and virtually you can see now, or visually I should say, you can see now that that gap has shrunk a little bit, and Wengler is starting to hit those back markers. We're going a bit deep here through Ville, and that compromises his line for a club as well, which means we are going to get even closer to him. But it is rather impressive to see him driving in first place. That was my fault obviously, but oh well. I'm gonna bring it up again. If he did cheat, then I have no idea why you would do that. It's just stupid, and I don't even know how you could be proud and race. And if he didn't, it's rather impressive. But we all said that no DRS just yet, but it's going to be rather close, I think. 2 DRS zones around this track, already mentioned in the qualifying. Taking a nice late apex over here, that was pretty sweet. And then go into here, Wengler going rather deep into there. Multiple lines possible through that corner. I love that corner. There are really multiple lines possible there. You can go really deep into it. It's called a V line. Go deep into the corner, then cut back and take a late apex, straighten up the car so you have a good exit. Or you could just stay tight to the apex and have a U line. Beautiful camera shot over here coming into Maggensberg's Chapel. Just taking so much speed into there. In qualifying, you actually take about 303 kilometers an hour into that left-hander, and that's just absolutely insane. In qualifying the first couple, well, even in the race, like Maggots is flat, and then a bit of a lift for Baggots, but it's rather insane to see that backmarker getting nicely out of the way there. But as you can see visually, that gap has shrunk, and again Wengler making that mistake, starting to feel the pressure for sure. He's starting to make a few mistakes here and there. Definitely lost a bit of pace with Wengler. So we are definitely within DRS right now. 6 laps to go in this race, and I really want to get the win here. So let's try to go for it and push as hard as I can. Taking it for turn 3. There we go. Having more grip available on these tires than Wengler. You can see it by the lines I'm taking. Again, Wengler is going deep, and I'll have DRS on him over here. You can see it went open there. I closed it for that corner. Didn't want to take the risk that I could spin off in that corner, and coming close. Am I close enough? Having a look, but no, that's definitely not close enough. But I'm just nailing the apexes a bit better than Wengler is the whole time, and again Wengler going very deep at the moment. I took more of a U line than compared to the V line from Wengler. And here again, coming down to Kopp's corner, going to have a look on the inside of Kopp's corner, but too far back. But putting the pressure all on Wengler, going even a bit off the track there. You don't want to do that too many times. you can have 10% of the race distance cut over a lap. So that means that maximum of 3 cuts is allowed over here. And that was definitely one. But luckily, I believe that the rest of my race was clean, so that shouldn't be an issue. Otherwise, you will have a penalty. Coming through Stowe here, of a back marker again in front. And again, look how much I'm gaining on him, just climbing through the apex and hitting that apex, braking later here. Wengler having to go a bit defensive, staying in the middle of the track. Now I need a better exit here at Club. I got an okayish exit, but not the best exit ever. Flat out through Abbey. And again down to turn 3. And now I'm gonna have to position myself. Looking on the inside here, not gonna work. Inside then for turn 4. Inside for turn 4. Very aggressive move. Wengler goes deep though. And I will have DRS here. Wengler going deep. And I think Wengler lost the lead there. I'll have DRS over here as well. And so I think I should say bye-bye to Wengler. Just going a bit for a dive on the inside of turn 4.
Very good, very good, very good. We've got this now.
Indeed, we've got this now. 5 laps to go. I'm on the first set of tires. This shouldn't be an issue, you know. Should be able to pull away and take home that victory around Silverstone. We'll have a look soon in the replay again. I positioned myself already for turn 3. And actually my intention straight away was to pass him at turn 4. Because I knew from the previous lap I had DRS. I was quite close to him. But he had somehow really good top speed, even when I had DRS. So I knew I had to do something before the DRS zone in order to compromise his exit, and he actually just completely ran deep. So that worked out even better than I thought probably. That's good for us. Down the inside. Maybe a bit aggressive. Yes, maybe it is, but at the same time, you know, Wengler left the door wide open there. And I also knew what I was doing. I think I left enough space for him. I was very hard on the brakes. It was not like I was, you know, diving into there and ending up going very wide or anything like that. No, that was not the case. Again, slowing it down for turn 3, so we're on the final lap of the race. And as you can see, Wengler behind. He stays within the DRS zone pretty much. And I can tell you that Wengler stayed with me for or until lap 30 or something like that, and he even attacked me. So Wengler was quite a bit closer than he was right now, and he actually had an opportunity to attack me. So Wengler, he was slow while I was putting him under pressure with those quick lap times, but now that I overtook him, he is somehow again able to stick with me on those medium tires, which are 16 laps old, and that's impressive. Mine are 10 laps old. 11, 10, 11, I don't know. Nonetheless though, it does look like Wengler is a bit too far back here at the moment. That should mean that we should get that victory at Silverstone. Wengler making a mistake there, and that completely releases all the pressure which I had.
Mistake from Wengler, second lap in a row. You can back off, you can take it easy. He's way behind now, way behind. No need to push.
Right, Justin is really calming me down there. And well, we're gonna take it home. Lap 32 out of 32, and taking home the victory here at Silverstone. And well, this is one I really wanted, so I'm very glad that we did it. And obviously a big thanks to Justin as well. It was quite good again with the strategic calls here.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you.
Fantastic job, man.
Yeah, respect to Wengler.
I mean, some people in chat were trying to say he's cheating. They're like, with 30.6 on 13 lap old mediums, he's cheating. I think he was running very low downforce, very low downforce.
Yeah, true. He obviously had the back of the grid, so he can adjust the setup like completely for the race.
Yep. Wow, what a race! That ended up being far more stressful than I wanted it to be, though. Woo.
Yeah, same. Right, so respect to Wengler has to be given for finishing that high. Obviously not respect if it were really thanks to and down to cheats, but still I'm going to presume it wasn't down to cheats. I'm going to presume he is fair, and it's down to the race directors to say that he didn't. But they already said pretty much that he did cheat, so in that case it takes away all of the respect I have for him. But still, He gave me a good run for my money. And not only Wangler had a story, I had a story about me going on as well, because in FSR there's software called FSR Manager which you have to run. You need to run it in order to get classified, because it's basically an anti-cheat tool, and it checks the logs and whatever. It checks all your files from rFactor 2, and I couldn't get it running for this race. I did still send a log file from the WC race. Hopefully that gets accepted. I am definitely not cheating, I can tell you that. But at the same time, you know, you need to run the software FSR Manager. It's in the rules. And if you don't run it, you get disqualified. And I didn't run it. I did run it in the race after this one, which was WC, where I raced as well. Highlights are coming up from that one as well. And I sent that one, and hopefully that gets accepted. And if it doesn't, I will get disqualified. But hey, I had good fun here, and that's what all counts. And I think that's pretty much it for this weekend. We now head into a big summer break, and I'm going to enjoy that summer break for sure, because I need a little bit of a break. But at the same time, I'm looking back to a first half of the season, which was quite successful. Had good successes, good races, a few poor performances, especially in qualifying. But overall, I would say I'm pretty happy. And obviously, I'm leading the championship by quite a bit right now. Sander Carlos didn't race here. I forgot to say that. But Sander did not race today over here. And so that only means that I'm going to extend the gap even more. I could be champion within 2 races, I believe, or something like that. And that is obviously very good. But for now, I'm going to head into the summer break. And we should be back in about a month or so at Monza. And I'm looking forward to that one. Check out the World Championship highlights later on the channel. They will be there later, as I said. And I think that's pretty much it. I thank you for all the support during the first half of the season. And I hope that you have enjoyed it. And I hope to see you after the summer break. And take care. Goodbye.